Good morning, Dan Delmar filling in for today. So let's talk a bit of housing. There's a building that's been bought by the city of Montreal for millions, and 4 years later, still nothing happening. It was acquired for social housing, and the property, which is in Park X, is supposed to get a $6.5 million investment, but it remains in a state of disrepair. And of course, there is an urgent need for housing. So what is going on? Julien Henault-Ratelle is the official opposition critic on housing at Montreal City Hall for Ensemble Montreal, the opposition party. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So what is the deal with this building, and what have you been finding out from the city on the delays?
Yeah, well, as you've been seeing, we learned by a request to access of information that Projet Montréal administration still has no plan on any social housing project for the Plaza Hutchison. It's been bought 4 years ago now for $6.5 million, so that money has already been spent to acquire the building with taxpayers' money. And it's quite ironic, because this building was the first one that has been acquired through the preemptive right that Projet Montréal keeps talking about and pride itself that it's accelerating the construction of social housing. And we need to recall it. It's a right that has been acquired by the city, obtained by the city under the previous Ensemble Montreal administration. And what we learned basically is that 4 years after the use of this preemptive right, we still have no plan on the development of any social housing. And on the opposite, the borough of Villeray-Saint-Michel-Place Extension is planning to do a mural on one of the facades of the building because they still don't have any project planned for the site.
What kind of answers are you getting from the city in terms of why there's no movement there?
Well, basically, they are saying that there's nothing coming up because there's no financing from Quebec government. So that's the answer from the plant administration. But what we see is that in many cases across the city of Montreal, where the administration used the preemptive right, the situation is the same. So there's this building in Plaza Hutchison. We've seen about a month ago now that on the Plateau Mont-Royal, they just integrated a mini golf on a site that was also acquired to do some social and affordable housing, a site that was supposed to go under construction a year ago now. There's another case on Clark in downtown Montreal. So we see that all across the city, the administration is paying millions to acquire different either buildings or sites that need to have a building being developed on it. But at the same time, we see that they don't find the money to do the construction afterwards. So we don't have any project. And that's quite problematic because, we're living the current housing crisis across Montreal, and Montrealers are waiting to have those units.
I did drive by the mini-putt course on Papineau and Laurier the other day, and I have to say it is quite jarring because it's at a busy intersection and one that would be perfect for building dense housing. In that borough, I guess, Ensemble, do you have any councillors elected in the area? Is there someone that can put pressure there, or is that sort of like a Projet Montréal stronghold?
No, we don't. It's 100% of Projet Montréal administration on the plateau.
So this is ultimately what the residents of the plateau want, right? So it's hard to argue against this policy, these policies of not building and closing down roads and getting cars out when the people of the plateau in some areas vote for this type of government repeatedly.
Well, I guess that they're also expecting to have social and affordable housing. The crisis that we're living right now in Montreal is all across the city, throughout all of the boroughs that we have in Montreal. So it's not only a situation in some specific quartier that we have. We need to do under construction all around the city. And sadly, what we see is that in most of the cases where the city used the preemptive right, where they're supposed to do some social and affordable housing projects, well, they are letting the different buildings deteriorating quite rapidly. That's the case on Plaza Hutchison, and that's the case in many other areas of the city. And sadly, the administration is spending less than $1 million per year to maintain the different buildings that we have. So we see that they are not investing enough to maintain the different investment that we're trying to do in Montreal.
Julien Henault-Ratelle, official opposition critic on housing at the City of Montreal. The previous administration as well, the Coderre administration, we can go back to Tremblay. I mean, I've been paying attention for quite a while. I don't believe anyone's really taken housing seriously. And given that we don't know who your mayoral candidate will be, How do we know what your policy is going to be if elected, if Ensemble takes power in a few years from now? How will you accelerate housing? Because so many of our predecessors here have done nothing.
Yeah, well, you're right that it has never been perfect over the past decades in Montreal in term of housing. But there are a few things that needs to be done right now in Montreal. A few examples. One of them is to accelerate the delivery time to grant construction permits throughout Montreal. La Presse did a report a few months ago showing that in Ville-Marie, in Lachine, it takes about a year to obtain a permit. In Mercier-Maisonneuve that I represent, it goes up to almost 2 years. And that's one of the power that are within the city's jurisdiction, so in which we can work on to try to improve the situation. So basically, hiring additional employees in the different permit teams throughout the different boroughs of Montreal, reducing bureaucracy that will have a huge impact because, time is money. And what we're finding right now is that every single month, the construction costs are going up quite rapidly in Montreal. So if we can reduce the delay, that would be some good point. Another one that I will say is regarding the 20-20-20, the mixed metropolis bylaw that have been implemented 3 years ago now by the Plante administration. Basically, what we see it doesn't give the results that were supposed to be there. In terms of affordable housing, in 2021, the Plante administration promised to build 60,000 affordable units over 10 years. Now we've got 3 of those 10 years that have been passing by, and we've got 0 affordable housing that have been built since the implementation of the bylaw. So that's something that we also want to put aside, replace it by another program, because what we're being told right now by developers is that basically it slows down construction start because we're asking the private sectors to do basically social and affordable housing, to construct them and to finance them. And that's not the responsibility of the private sector. So that's also something that we need to work on. And over the past few years, we've made many propositions to the administration through motions, through amendments, to try to improve some of the regulations that we have in terms of housing across Montreal.
Those are great ideas. I think they make a lot of sense. So on the one hand, the 20-20-20 rule, for those that don't know, it basically, the city dictates to builders how they can organize a majority of their units. So that kind of is a big overreach there. And on the permits, sure, there's a lot of delay in getting the permits. But one issue I want to raise with you and Ensemble Montreal is a lot of people don't qualify for the permits to begin with. And that is an issue. Is Ensemble Montreal willing to, for instance, talk about lightening zoning restrictions? Is Ensemble Montreal willing to talk about a building taller than the mountain? Not on the mountain, not around the mountain, but anywhere in Montreal, like on the waterfront, for instance, near the Champlain Bridge. That seems to be a big taboo in every political party. Is Ensemble Montreal willing to actually get serious about building up in Montreal?
Yeah. Well, I will say that we'll need to see within the next platform, we'll be in an election within a year from now. But I think that those are all things that need to be considered. Right now, we're not planning to go over the Mont-Royal. We're seeing all different programs across different cities in Quebec, in Canada. For example, in Longueuil, they've been putting some incentives for additional zoning. That's something that can be analyzed. And basically, the Quebec government over the past 6 months, I will say right now, have been approving different new laws that are giving additional power to the city in terms of taxation, in terms of zoning. And those are all powers that need to be analyzed. We've submitted a motion, I think it was back in February, asking the Plante administration to use one of the new superpower that the Quebec government gave us to basically derogate to few of the regulations that we have in Montreal regarding the zoning, regarding all of the referendum processes, to basically accelerate a few major projects that needs to be going up quite more rapidly than what we are seeing right now in Montreal.
Julien Henault-Ratelle, official opposition critic on housing for Ensemble Montreal. Thanks very much.
Well, thanks for having me. A pleasure.